So, hey, YouTube. I gotta remember I'm recording for YouTube now. Um, so I just wanted to hop on here. Like I said, I am just learning things as I'm down here, expanding the brand, the home care brand here in Arizona. So in me contracting with um, a particular company to ensure that I am just on in a best what I want to say, the best practices, the best chance to be able to fully receive clients, bill for them effectively, manage, that part of it, since now that we do EVV now, and that's a big thing. Since before, when I first ever started, that wasn't a thing, obviously. So being able to, obviously in a new state, have something or a company that can kind of handle those things that can really can be time consuming, and it's a lot to take in, especially when you already are kind of absorbing new information from your home state. For me, Indiana being my home state, absorbing that information because there's some new things that came. So there's me having my experience, me doing this for a long time and all of the things, but also there is issues where you where the new things come. So there's the new things that are in your familiar state of where you're from and how you've been doing things. So you have to adjust to that change, right? And then you are expanding your brand down here to where you have moved and or building a community and a home and things of that nature. So you're learning those as well. So it's like, okay, I gotta really put my thinking cap on and really just kind of focus and lock in, because it can be overwhelming. It can be a lot of information taken in the process. But I would say don't let things overwhelm you. Take your time, go at your pace, and just really make sure that you're praying about what you're doing first, and that you're just making sure God is in your boat. I just can't even, I'm telling you, from experience and real life experience, just real life, straight up. It's much more simpler when you put God in your boat, like legit. So with all of that being said, so I have been doing some research and reading and things like that. So the MCEs, or we call them MCEs back at home, which that's another thing too. Terminology is gonna like do this, They call it this here, they call it that here, but it can mean the same thing. So kind of how you got one word that means several things, all that stuff. So that's something to kind of put in your forefront, is the terminology. So you're like, oh, what are you speaking about? Are you talking about this? So you kind of have to got to get used to that. It's like people call, for instance, it's home care. But the technical term back at home is PSA, personal service agency, but a lot of people call it the home care or non-medical services. Like there's a thousand things. So they call them MCEs back in Indiana, right? But here I think they're the same. Don't quote me on this because this is a learning thing. We're learning together. We listen and we don't judge now. So it's managed care here, which I'm assuming they are the same thing. And back at home, we were just introduced to 3. I think originally we were supposed to be contracted with 4, but there are 3 that made the cut. So that was Anthem, United, and Humana. Okay. And it has been a learning lesson, to say the least. I think because it's new, obviously anything new, they're going to have kinks and things to work out, especially with the world of electronic and things being done electronically and digitally and all the things, right? So the word glitch is going to be a thing, right? So, and I think that's just in general with everything new. I've worked in the medical field, like I said, for a long time. And as a medical assistant, when we were learning about Cerner and all of those things, and Epic, and these are EMR systems, there was a lot of kinks in the beginning. A lot of people had to learn the system, and the system had to operate and function according to to certain things or whatever. So sorry, that was one of my little from one of my staff. So like, so so they operate a little different, right? What was I saying? I almost lost my train of thought. I got so much going on. But yeah, so with MCOs here for Arizona, what I found out is they have several. So from what I and as I have delved in more, what I see is that whereas like I said, we had the three, we're learning how to do that. We're learning how to get adjusted with all of those things. The MCOs is what they call here, which are managed care organizations. They have four right now, but due to some contracting issues, a judge kind of has stepped in and has their switch. From what I'm gathering is they're switching over to the MCOs. I guess more than what I don't know if they have been doing them. I'm not there yet. But from what I'm gathering, it's like they may have been around, but they kind of maybe were operating kind of how Indiana, maybe a different way, obviously before. So I'm gathering that now, due to some contracts not being completed correctly or improperly, the judge has stepped in and has postponed those contracts and things going into effect until September 2025. So with that being said, there's something about two of them that a lot of them are just kind of using right now. So from what I'm gathering, it's two that potentially are the most commonly used or kind of available. But all in all, there were 7 MCOs here in Arizona. There were 7. So from what I'm gathering from that, 4 are supposed to have an extended contract until 2025. So yeah, that was a lot. So basically, in a nutshell, compared to Indiana from here, the MCO credentialing process or whatever, it looks like it's been going on here far longer than obviously Indiana. They're a little bit more familiar with that, whereas Indiana's very new to that from what I'm understanding. And being able to, for me, I was blessed enough that back at home, I was able to have my accountant and the billing company that my accountant created for her to be able to kind of streamline my process back at home. So my billing and my accounting and payroll and all the things can be streamlined through her. And so that's a super blessing. So down here, obviously things are different. We're as my accountant trying to figure out too, like, what do we need to add and things like that, and just all of the things, right? And so for here, because I plan on expanding into some things. So just trying to figure out that part of it was kind of, because I'm like, I kind of want you guys to do the same thing you're doing for me up there, whatever, but it's a little different down here. And by it being different, and it's just in general new to us back at home, my accountant, my billing department, like all of that, it's completely new. So we grasped and are grasping that process now in real time. Whereas here, going with a company that specializes and is experienced in this nationwide, was more of the better choice for me. So in doing this, I am kind of having them to be over the billing and the things when it comes to going through them, but they kind of do more than that. They do the billing. They let me see. So they do the billing, they do the enrollment, helping us to get enrolled with other payers and things like that are accepting insurance for clients that we serve, right? They do the eligibility. It's like they monitor the clients, the authorizations for them, ensure the continuity of care and payment. They completely monitor your entire EBV systems, making sure everything is accurate and correct, which is it's important, and then even doing the training. So like it's almost an all-in-one, and it was a blessing. So I got this information from my best friend's cousin, which is pretty much my cousin, because my best friend is pretty much my sister, clearly. I've been literally knowing him like all my life, 6, 7 years old, like all of our lives, right? So yeah, she's also starting up down here, so I'm excited for her. But yeah, so I was able to get credentialed and contract and things like that. And like I said, what I could tell you is that the experience that I already had with just 10 plus years plus the new MCEs back at home, here I was able to kind of like fill out the paperwork a little, have my stuff kind of more readily available, if that makes sense. So it does help to have that experience. I will say that. And like I said, for me, I got the experience not only in the home care, but just in the medical field in general, because I worked as a medical assistant for a while. And like I really absorbed a lot of that. A lot of the teachings from doctors, really amazing, experienced doctors and nurses that are like phenomenal. Definitely shout out to them. So yeah, like the experience definitely is key, and I think it has helped me tremendously. But yeah, things are looking amazing, you guys. Like so freaking amazing. Like I'm so excited for all that is to come. Oh my God. Like on the inside of my heart. So yeah, you guys. Yeah, that's kind of a little wrap up about how the MCEs are going down here, how it is with credentialing and things like that. I will say, if you come from a state that already does the MCE, MCO kind of vibe, if they already are moving with the EVV and things like that, which I want to say EVV is a federal thing now. And I think like a lot of people who are doing the home care, home health care, anything of that nature are having to bill accordingly to that. So don't quote me for that, but we'll just do a little bit more learning and digging, because obviously that's what we're here for, to learn, to experience, to inspire, to motivate, all of the things, right? That is exactly what we're here to do. So I was excited to share that with you guys today, that little tidbit. But yeah, I think experience is key. I think that if you already, like I said, are used to doing the MCOs or MCEs, whatever you want to call them, this would be pivotal if you go into another state to do the same business or expand along those lines. So I'm excited. So that's my little tutorial about MCEs and what I have learned so far about the credentialing process and how it has been, and things like that. Oh, I will say before I leave here too, with the Medicaid was like the first one I did because I wanted to obviously learn about the health department, how they do things and things like that nature or whatnot. That compared to, let me see, I keep forgetting I got a lot of experience. So compared to before the new changes back where I'm from in Indiana, to do the Medicaid application the Medicaid waiver was very simple. When I first started, it literally took 2 weeks to finish the whole process. It was a 1-pager. You added a couple policies. 2 weeks go by, you had your Medicaid waiver. Boom. Here, it could have been like that prior to. I don't know. Obviously, wasn't here. Don't know how it used to be. But thus far, it hasn't been too bad to go on there, complete that, become a provider through that and all of those things. It hasn't been thus far, fingers crossed. And it could be obviously experience. Experience is key. It's key, is key, is key. Just really taking your time and experiencing and gathering and using the experience is I cannot stress that enough. It definitely has played a pivotal role for me down here. So it hasn't been hard, like I said, because for me, once again, I'm seasoned in this. So, but even if I was looking at it as a non-seasoned person, right, I would say it's not undoable. It can be a little tricky, but I would say it's still fairly doable. About 80%ish. I would give it that. But yeah, that process has been fairly good and it's going along great, marvelously. It's been amazing. Things are flowing. God has been very good. One thing I also will say, and I can't stress this enough before I hop out of here and close this out, I have put God first in everything I did. Surrendered, gave it up to God, and just completely shedded things that did not belong to me, incorporated God in every aspect of my life. He's literally in my boat. And if you are on a person that is changing and moving to a new state, expanding your brand, going to, doing things like that along those lines, making sure you putting God first in all that you do is going to be pivotal, top tier. Can't stress it enough. You definitely need to do it. So I hope this video was inspirational, motivational, helpful, and inspiring to you. Be motivated out here, be positive, be peaceful, do all the things, keep your mind clear, and keep God first in all you do. I wish you well and positivity and good energy.